Alright guys, in the last video we created a route that checks for the current user's profile. Now remember, when we register, we don't have a profile. We just have a user, okay? Because we have a users collection and a profile collection. So what we're going to do now is create the post route to actually create a profile. So let's grab, actually I'll just grab the whole thing we just did, the whole route. Just this here, because this is also going to be a protected route. Alright, so let's change this to API/profile. Actually, it's going to be the same URL, but it's going to be a different type. It's going to be a post request to this URL. And let's change the description to create user profile, and it's going to be private. So we want to change it to router.post. Okay, we can leave the slash, it's the same URL. We're going to leave all this because it is a protected route. And we're actually going to have quite a few validations with this. But let's do the validations after. All right, I'm just going to get rid of everything that's in between here. Okay, so all this logic that we just did, which is the whole profile find one, we'll get rid of the errors thing too for now. So let's get all of the fields that come in. Now remember, these fields are going to be in request.body. So we'll say get fields, and there's a lot of them. This is going to be a long one. Now everything that comes in, I'm going to put into an object called profile fields. So I'm going to set that to an empty object. And this is going to get filled by all the stuff in the form. Now, one thing, or there's going to be a couple things that don't come from the form, such as the user. Okay, so let's say profile fields dot user, and we can get that from request.user.id. That's the logged in user. Okay, and that will actually include the avatar, the name, and the email, right? So let's also now check to see if the field that we're looking for has come in. So let's do the handle. So we'll say request.body.handle. So if request.body.handle, then we're going to make these one-liners, so we don't need curly braces. And we'll say profile fields. Profile fields dot handle equals request dot body dot handle. Okay, so what we're doing is we're checking to see if this was actually sent in from the form, the handle. If so, then we're setting it to profile fields dot handle. And we're going to do this with pretty much all of our fields. So let's just copy this down a bunch of times. Okay, so in addition to handle, we have company. I know this is very tedious, but if you want to have an extensive profile, this is what you have to do, unfortunately. All right, so next we'll do website. I mean, you could always copy it from the code and paste it in if you don't want to type this out. Next, we'll do location. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll highlight this. We know we need the next two, so Control D once, twice, and we'll change it to location. Okay, next one will be the bio. So Control D twice, bio. Next will be the status. Status. All right, now let's see. Let's do the GitHub username. All right, now next thing I'm going to do is skills. Now remember I said skills is going to come in. Let me just put a comment here. So this is going to be skills, and we need to split into an array, okay, because it's going to come in as comma separated values. So what I'll do here is I'm actually going to do if let's say if type of request.body.skills is not equal to undefined, then we're going to say profile fields dot skills equals, and then take that request.body.skills. At this point, it's a CSV, it's a comma separated values field, and we want to split it into an array. So to do that, what the heck? To do that, we can say dot split, and we want to split it at the comma, so we'll pass in a comma. All right, so that will now give us an array of skills to put into the database as opposed to just the comma separated values. All right, now next we're going to have our social links. Now remember, if we look at the profile model, social is in its own object right here. Social, it has an object of fields. So unless we want to get an error, what we have to do here is initialize profile fields dot social and set that to an empty object, because if we try to add to profile fields dot social without doing this, it's just going to say profile fields dot social doesn't exist. All right, so now we're going to test for request.body.youtube. That's what we'll send it as. It'll be an input with the name of YouTube, and then we're going to add it to profile fields dot social dot YouTube. Okay, and we're going to set that to, or it's going to be set from request.body.youtube. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. It'll come in as this. Then if it exists, we want to set this to that value that comes in. So what we can do is actually grab this, and let's do it for each social network. So we have Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So we'll say Control D twice, Twitter. All right, let's grab that. Control. Oops, I didn't do that right. So this will be Facebook. This will be LinkedIn. And this will be Instagram. All right, so that should be all of our social stuff. Actually, one thing I didn't mention is this is also going to be the update route. So I should say create or edit user profile. We're gonna create this in a way that this is the same route we're going to send to if the user is actually updating their profile. Okay, so if it's already there. So we're going to first check for the user. Let me just make sure we have everything here. Now notice you're probably saying, where's experience and education? Well, that's going to be something separate, okay? They're going to have a page to create their profile. I can actually show you real quick. Let's go to... Oh, I don't have my thing open here. Let's open that up, and let's log in. Now, if I go to, well, we can't see the create profile because we already have it. If we logged in and when we just registered, it would say, please create a profile. We click it and we get a form like this, except it wouldn't be filled out. This is the edit profile. This is going to go to the same route as the create profile. Now, the experience and education, those are separate forms, okay? So when we send in add experience, this will add an object to the array of experience in the model. Same thing with when we add an education. And then we're going to pick those up here and display them. Okay, we're also going to display them on the profile itself. All right, so hopefully that helps you understand a little bit. But let's first look for the user. So we're going to go right here, and we're going to say profile dot find one, and we want to find the user by request.user.id, so the logged in user, dot then, let's put this on a new line. So dot then, it'll give us the profile. All right, now we want to check to see if a profile exists. So we'll say if profile. Now, if there's a profile, that means this is an update. Okay, we want to update the profile, not create a new one. And the logic is a little different here. So what we'll do is we'll say profile. Actually, let's put an else here too, because this means create. Okay, so let's do the update first. So we're going to say dot find one and update, which is a very handy method. Actually, that'll give us a promise, so we don't need a semicolon. But in here, we're going to put in a few things. First is going to be, who do we want to update? So user, we want to update request.user.id. Second one is going to be an object as well, and we're going to use a money sign set, and we want to set the profile fields, okay, which is a giant object that we just created from all the input, okay, all this stuff. All right, we want to set profile fields, and we're also going to just say there's an option called new, and we're going to set that to true, like that. Now, I'm just going to save this, and it's going to format it a little bit. So this will actually give us, this ends here, so this will give us a promise. So we'll say dot then, and then it'll give us the profile. And what do we want to do with this? Actually, we don't need curly braces, because I'm just going to respond with the profile, like that. All right, so that will update the profile with whatever new fields are coming in, and then it'll respond with that profile. So that's the update. Now for the save, we want to do a couple other things. We want to first check to see if the handle exists, okay, because we don't want multiple handles. Remember, the handle is basically, it's for SEO, it's to access the profile page in an SEO friendly way. So let's say check if handle exists. So we're going to do profile dot find one, and we want to look for handle, and we want to look for that by our profile fields. Okay, all the input should be in this object, and then we want to match handle. Okay, so that'll give us a promise. So we'll do dot then, whoops. So dot then profile, it'll give us back, and we're going to say if a profile is given back that matches that handle, then we want to send an error. So we're going to say errors dot handle, and let's set a message. We'll say that handle already exists. Okay, and then we're going to say res dot status. It's going to be a 400, because any error like that, validation error, will be a 400, and then JSON, and then pass in errors. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now, if there isn't a profile with that handle, we'll continue, and we will create, or we'll say save profile. So to do that, we can just simply say new profile, pass in our profile fields, and call dot save, which will give us a promise, and that will give us the saved profile, and then we just want to res.json that new profile. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's clear. To reiterate, we're going to get everything in request.body. We're going to fill the profile fields object with all that stuff, including the social object. And then we're going to search for the user by the logged in user's ID. If they have a profile, we're going to update it with this. If they don't, we're going to first make sure that there's no handle by that name. If there is, we'll send back an error. And if not, we'll go ahead and create the profile. So that's the entire logic of this route. Now, before we do any testing with this route, I want to implement the validation, meaning, you know, is the handle actually there? Is it included, or is it blank? Is the, what else, the status there? All the required fields and any other validations we want. So we'll do that in the next video, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start to test and see if we can create a profile with one of our users.